Hello friends, in this section we are going to discuss the abnormalities related to thyroid gland. So we'll start our discussion with this important topic called as hypothyroidism. So see, there are different conditions related to hypothyroidism. So we all must have heard the names of these conditions like there is what's called as Hashimoto's disease, myxedema, cretinism. Now all these conditions they are related to hypothyroidism. So we'll discuss hypothyroidism as a whole entity. Okay, the signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism will be same in all these cases. Now, depending on the etiology, what causes this hypothyroidism, different names have been given to these disease. Okay, so hypothyroidism basically means there is decrease in the activity of thyroid hormones. Decrease in the activity of thyroid hormones is called as hypothyroidism. Okay, so hypothyroidism it can be divided into two main types. One is called as primary hypothyroidism and other is called as secondary hypothyroidism. Okay, so primary hypothyroidism basically means there is problem at the level of thyroid hormones. So thyroid hormones, even though they are being stimulated by TSH from pituitary, they do not produce enough. So there can be problem with regard to hormone synthesis. There can be problem with regard to hormone release, etc. So basically, problem is in the thyroid gland. And secondary hypothyroidism means problem can be at the level of pituitary. So maybe due to some reason, pituitary is not producing enough thyroid stimulating hormone, so it's causing less stimulation of thyroid gland. So less thyroid hormones are being produced, and that's the cause of hypothyroidism. Okay, so secondary hypothyroidism means problem is at the level of pituitary or there can be some other problem, but primary hypothyroidism means problem is at the level of thyroid gland. So there can be problem with respect to thyroid hormone synthesis, or there can be problem in release of thyroid hormone. So now, in the thyroid, we already discussed thyroid function tests. So how can we differentiate between primary and secondary hypothyroidism? See, in primary hypothyroidism, thyroid hormone is not able to synthesize. Okay, thyroid gland is not able to synthesize thyroid hormones. That means T3 and T4 levels will be decreased. Okay, so when there are decreased T3 and T4 levels, so there is less feedback inhibition. So there is less feedback inhibition to the pituitary. So less feedback inhibition, that means TSH is going to increase because now because less T3 and T4 cause less inhibition of pituitary, so TSH is going to increase in this case. But in case of secondary hypothyroidism, we know problem is in the pituitary itself, so thyroid stimulating hormone released from pituitary is less, and that results in decrease in levels of T3 and T4. So we can see decrease in levels of T3 and T4 in both the cases. Okay, so there's decreased levels of T3 T4, decreased level of T3 T4. But in primary hypothyroidism, there is increase in the level of TSH, and in secondary hypothyroidism, TSH levels are also decreased. So this can be useful in differentiating between primary and secondary hypothyroidism. Okay, now primary hypothyroidism, whenever we see a case of primary hypothyroidism, there are two main causes. Okay, so the first important cause, and in fact which is the most common cause, is the autoimmune cause. Okay, it can be because of destruction of thyroid gland by auto antibodies. So autoantibodies can cause destruction of gland, and that results in decreased hormone synthesis, which results in hypothyroidism. So this is autoimmune cause, and in fact this is the most common cause of hypothyroidism in the world. And there can be other causes as well. So other causes include, there can be less iodine intake. So if there is decreased iodine intake, there will be decreased synthesis of thyroid hormones, that results in hypothyroidism. Okay, there can be congenital hypothyroidism. Congenital hypothyroidism, it's also a cause of hypothyroidism. And other causes include some drugs. Okay, there are certain drugs such as lithium. Okay, lithium causes hypothyroidism. Similarly, anti-estrogenic drug called as clomiphene, it also causes hypothyroidism. Similarly, certain D2 blockers cause hypothyroidism. So these can be causes of hypothyroidism. Decreased iodine intake, congenital hypothyroidism. There can be drugs like lithium, clomiphene. So basically these cause hypothyroidism, but most common cause is autoimmune cause. Now this autoimmune cause, in autoimmune hypothyroidism, there is destruction of thyroid gland by autoantibodies. That means in these individuals, we can find whether the cause is autoimmune or it's due to some other factor by screening for antibodies. Because if it's an autoimmune cause, then autoantibodies will be present. There are four main autoantibodies which are present in case of autoimmune hypothyroidism. Okay, so the first antibody that we can see will be against it's called as anti-thyroid peroxidase antibody. Okay, so this antibody is it acts against thyroid peroxidase enzyme, does not allow synthesis of thyroid hormones. Okay, second antibody will be anti-thyroglobulin antibody. Third antibody is called as anti-microsomal antibody, and fourth antibody is called as anti anti-thyroid peroxidase antibody, okay, anti-thyroglobulin antibody, anti-microsomal antibody, and anti-thyroid stimulating hormone receptor antibody. So as you can all understand, in anti-thyroid peroxidase antibody, this antibody destroys thyroid peroxidase enzyme, does not allow hormone synthesis. Okay, anti-thyroglobulin antibody, it attacks thyroglobulin molecules, which is a precursor molecule required for hormone synthesis, again does not allow synthesis, it alters synthesis. Antimicrosomal antibody also causes gland destruction, and anti-thyroid stimulating hormone receptor antibody, so it binds to thyroid stimulating hormone receptors and does not allow these receptors to be stimulated by normal thyroid stimulating hormone which comes from pituitary. Okay, now these anti-thyroid stimulating hormone antibodies, they can actually be of two types. Okay, so they can be stimulatory antibodies, or they can be inhibitory antibodies. That means, now, in case of hypothyroidism, we are mainly talking about inhibitory antibodies. So when these antibodies bind to thyroid stimulating hormone receptor, they do not allow thyroid stimulating hormone to bind to them. As a result, there will be no thyroid hormone synthesis. So this results in hypothyroidism, and this condition is called as, it's called as autoimmune. This condition is basically called as Hashimoto's thyroiditis, or Hashimoto's disease. Okay, this is called as Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and it's a form of hypothyroidism. Okay, and if stimulatory antibodies are present against thyroid stimulating hormone receptors, then these receptors will be stimulated by antibody. So there is no thyroid stimulating hormone, but antibody is binding to this receptor, which is a stimulatory antibody, and it's doing the same function as thyroid stimulating hormone. So in this case, there will be hyperthyroidism. So there will be increase in T3 T4 synthesis. So this will result in a form of hyperthyroidism, which is called as Graves' disease. Okay, it's called as Graves' disease. But here our main focus will be on Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which results in hypothyroidism. Okay, so the autoimmune cause of hypothyroidism is the most common cause in the world, and most common cause among these is anti-thyroid stimulating hormone antibody. It's the most common cause. So Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Okay. Now other causes include less iodine intake, congenital hypothyroidism, drugs such as lithium clomiphene citrate, and D2 antagonists. Okay. Now, so the most important cause of primary hypothyroidism is Hashimoto's thyroiditis, and since it's an autoimmune condition, so there are some things that we can remember about this condition. So it's common in females as compared to males, because it's an autoimmune condition, so middle-aged females will be more susceptible, and it has association with other autoimmune diseases like type 1 diabetes mellitus, SLE, and even Addison's. So these are associations, and if we talk about HLA association, it's associated with HLA DR3, 4, and 5. Okay, so most important is HLA DR5. These are some associations, some things about Hashimoto's thyroiditis. Okay, now let's discuss signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism. Now these signs and symptoms will be applicable to all the cases of hypothyroidism, but there are some differences. Some symptoms are only seen in some symptoms are only seen in primary hypothyroidism, not in secondary hypothyroidism. We'll point them out once we study them. Okay, see, whenever there is a case of hypothyroidism, if we talk about hypothyroidism, there will be symptoms which will be because of decrease in hormones T3 and T4. That means the normal function of these hormones will be decreased. What is the function of these hormones? That's BMR. If we have to answer in a single word, we'll say BMR, basal metabolic rate. That means decrease in T3 and T4 will result in decreased BMR. So there will be symptoms which will be because of decreased BMR. And because now if it's a case of primary hypothyroidism, now this will be seen in decrease in T3 and T4 will be seen in both. It is seen in primary as well as in secondary hypothyroidism. But if it's a case of secondary hypothyroidism, increase in TSH will not be seen, because in secondary hypothyroidism there is decrease in TSH. That's the main problem. Okay, so there are some features, some symptoms which are because of increase in TSH, and they'll be definitely seen only in primary hypothyroidism. Okay, now let's try to understand what these signs and symptoms are. Okay, so we'll discuss in two parts. First, let us discuss the symptoms which will be because of decrease in thyroid hormone. So because of decrease in BMR, there's going to be first important property is going to be fatigue, because there will be decrease less energy formation. There's going to be cold intolerance. Cold intolerance. Why cold intolerance? Because thyroid hormones, we already studied the actions of thyroid hormones. They cause they inhibit formation of ATP, and they they cause uncoupling of oxidative phosphorylation, so the energy shifts towards thermogenesis, so there's production of heat. Now when there will be decreased thyroid hormones, that will result in cold intolerance. Okay, point number 3, there's going to be constipation. Point number 4, weight gain because of less metabolic activity. Similarly, there is going to be hair loss. In females, a very important symptom which is called as amenorrhea. In fact, the most common cause of secondary amenorrhea is hypothyroidism, and hypothyroidism it's Hashimoto's thyroiditis in females. Okay, constipation, weight gain, hair loss, amenorrhea. So these are some symptoms which are related to decrease in BMR. Okay, because of decreased T3 and T4, fatigue, cold intolerance, constipation, weight gain, hair loss, amenorrhea. We can add some more. There's going to be decreased heart rate, etc. Okay, we can add a lot more. So these are some chief features. Okay, now so these, as you can understand, they'll be seen in both primary as well as in secondary hypothyroidism. Okay, that hypothyroidism can be of any, it can be it can be congenital hypothyroidism or some other variant because of iodine deficiency, because of it can be autoimmune. So these features will be seen. Now, because of increase in thyroid stimulating hormone, there will be some features they will be seen only in primary hypothyroidism. Now, this increased thyroid stimulating hormone, it's going to stimulate fibroblastus, and it's going to cause more formation of glycosaminoglycans. Okay. Now, these glycosaminoglycans, they'll cause trapping of water trapping of water. Now, these glycosaminoglycans and water, they'll form a kind of matrix. Okay, they'll form a matrix, and this matrix will accumulate in the interstitial spaces. Interstitial spaces. Now, this matrix, once it accumulates in the interstitial spaces, it results in other manifestations. Okay, it results in other manifestations. So, what are these manifestations? These manifestations are, so there'll be puffiness. So this will be because of accumulation of these glycosaminoglycans. There'll be puffiness. There'll be what's called as periorbital edema. Because of accumulation of these in the periorbital space, there's going to be periorbital edema. Okay, there is non-pitting edema. Non-pitting because it's because of these glycosaminoglycans. Okay, there's no fluid in this. So puffiness, periorbital edema, non-pitting edema, and so these all symptoms, they are called as mixed edema. Mixed edema. So as you can understand from the name itself, they are associated with non-pitting edema. Okay. Now, if we talk about the gland is going to be firm and non-tender. So that means it's not painful. We can examine the gland. The patient will not feel any pain, but it can have irregular swellings. The gland can have irregular swelling. That means it can be some form of goiter as well. Okay. So these are signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism. They can be because of decrease in T3, T4 hormones. They can be because of increase in thyroid stimulating hormones. So increase in thyroid stimulating seen only in primary hypothyroidism, puffiness, periorbital edema, non-pitting edema, and fatigue, cold intolerance, constipation, weight gain, hair loss, amenorrhea, decreased heart rate. They are seen in this both primary as well as secondary. Another important feature here that I forgot to mention, it's called as macroglossia. Okay, that means there will be increase in the size of tongue. Macroglossia, and it can further obstruct the respiration during sleep, it can cause obstructive sleep apnea. Okay. Now if we examine the gland is going to be firm and non-tender, and it can have irregular swelling. So let me show you a diagram. As you can see on the left side, so this is a patient having of primary hypothyroidism, and as you can see, there is this swelling in the thyroid gland. So you can see periorbital edema, and general there is puffiness in the face, and after treatment you can see, so there is no puffiness, and the gland, it looks normal. There is regression of this gland. Okay, gland looks normal, and there is no edema around the orbit. So as you can see, these are some features. Okay, I'm going to again show this. See, there is enlargement of thyroid gland, and there is this edema, there is puffiness, and if we can appreciate some sort of hair loss as well. As you can see the difference. There's some type of hair loss as well. So these features, they are all the features of hypothyroidism, as you can see. Okay, so puffiness, periorbital edema, non-pitting edema. So these are seen in primary hypothyroidism, and this is the patient of primary hypothyroidism. Okay, here it's mentioned primary hypothyroidism. Okay, now how do we treat hypothyroidism? So whenever there is a patient of hypothyroidism, that means the person has decreased thyroid hormones. Okay, in case of autoimmune hypothyroidism, management is different. Okay, but in normal general case of hypothyroidism, which is due to decreased thyroid hormones, what we do is we give thyroid hormones. So the main thyroid, so we have two thyroid hormones, T3 and T4, and as we already studied in the general thyroid hormone lecture, so the half-life of T4 is more as compared to T3. So that's why we use pharmacologically T4 is used, and it's called as leothyronine. So leothyronine, which is a form of T4, it's used as pharmacotherapy in case of hypothyroidism. Okay, so the patient is given drug leothyronine, which is basically nothing but it's thyroid hormone T4. Okay, and we prefer T4 because it has long half-life as compared to T3. Now there is a condition. Okay, let's say there's a patient of long-standing hypothyroidism. So there's a patient of long-standing hypothyroidism. Now, because of certain conditions, let's say because of infections, because of, okay, patient is already diagnosed with hypothyroidism. That means the patient must be given medicine for hypothyroidism. That means the person has to take leothyronine as prescribed by the doctor. So in case of non-compliance, that means the person does not take drugs for long time. If a person gets a severe infection or non-compliance, person is not taking any drugs, or if there is an attack of MI or a stroke, then in that case, this person of hypothyroidism, he develops a very severe form of hypothyroidism, something which is called as myxedema coma. Myxedema coma. Now, this is a serious condition, mixed edema coma, and this has to be treated as soon as possible. So, what are signs and symptoms of this mixed edema coma? See, signs and symptoms. First of all, patient will be already having hypothyroidism. He will be already diagnosed with hypothyroidism, and on getting appropriate history like non-compliance, infection, or attack of MI, etc., we can diagnose it. So, the characteristic feature first, there will be hypothermia. So, because of decreased thyroid hormone synthesis, there will be hypothermia, there will be hypoglycemia. Now, hypoglycemia, it can actually result in seizures in the patient. Okay, hypoglycemia, there is going to be hypoventilation, and hypoventilation, it results in increased PCO2 in the blood, and hypoventilation, there is going to be bradycardia, decrease in pulse rate, bradycardia, and hypothermia, hypoglycemia, hypoventilation, bradycardia, and even hyponatremia. Okay, so these are signs and symptoms of mixed edema coma, and it's an emergency condition. It should be treated as soon as possible. How we'll treat it? So it's a form of severe hypothyroidism, so we'll give thyroid hormone. So for treatment, we'll give intravenous T3 plus T4 and steroids. So this is how we manage mixed edema coma. Okay, now so these are all uh, so this is all about hypothyroidism. So in hypothyroidism, Now let's quickly go through everything. Hypothyroidism can be primary hypothyroidism, secondary hypothyroidism. Secondary is a problem with respect to pituitary, because of which there is decreased thyroid stimulating hormone synthesis. That means decreased T3 and T4. In primary hypothyroidism, problem is in the thyroid gland. So less T3, T4, more less feedback inhibition, and more TSH. Okay. Cause of primary hypothyroidism, it can be autoimmune, which is most common cause, or other cause like less iodine intake, congenital hypothyroidism, or drugs like lithium clomiphene citrate D2 blockers. Okay. Now, in autoimmune hypothyroidism, the antibodies are present. It can actually be diagnosed by finding by screening for these antibodies. So, anti-thyroid peroxidase and anti-thyroglobulin antibodies, anti-microsomal, anti-thyroid stimulating hormone receptor antibodies. Okay, anti-thyroid stimulating hormone receptor antibodies, they can be the stimulatory antibodies or inhibitory. If they are stimulatory, then there will be Graves' disease, which is actually a form of hyperthyroidism. Okay, but in other cases, there are inhibitory antibodies which cause Hashimoto's thyroiditis, which is a form of hypothyroidism. And being an autoimmune condition, it's common in females. Association with type 1 diabetes mellitus, SLE, Addison's, and HLA association with DR3, DR4, and DR5. And signs and symptoms of hypothyroidism are because of decrease in hormones and increase in TSH, seen only in primary hypothyroidism. Okay, and this is the picture showing patient of hypothyroidism before and after surgery. Okay, and for treatment we prefer T4, that's liothyronine, because it has greater half-life. So a severe form of hypothyroidism which is seen in a patient of long-standing hypothyroidism on if there is non-compliance, infections, MI, stroke, is called as mixed edema, coma. There will be hyponatremia, hypoglycemia, hypoventilation, bradycardia, hyponatremia, and there will be more seizures. There will increase PCO2 in the blood because of hypoventilation, and for this we have to manage the patient as soon as possible. So intravenous T3, T4, and steroids. So this is all about hypothyroidism. In the next lecture we'll study about hyperthyroidism.